Hey folks, Green Stuff Gav here. This week we've got another unboxing. However, this time it's a Kickstarter from Oathsworn Miniatures for their Burrows and Badgers game. Now, for those who don't know, Burrows and Badgers is an anthropomorphic skirmish game where players have a team of various animals and they duke it out in a variety of scenarios. Oathsworn are a very good company run by Joe and Michael, and they are always active on the Facebook group, and on the whole the game itself is very good to play, very easy to understand, and quite technical in the way that different stats have different dice. So obviously I've backed a couple of the Kickstarters now. I've got hundreds of models which you can see on Build Your Imagination, and this week I thought we'd have a look at what I got via Kickstarter. Most Kickstarters Oathsworn have done, you've been able to pick the models you want, because Michael does some fantastic character sculpts, and but this time they've had set crews. You have a necromantic crew, witch hunters crew, and I think it was an all-in crew as well. So I've gone for the necromantic crew because the ghasts, their spirits of the undead, are absolutely lovely models. So let's have a look and see what we've got. So Oathsworn tend to supply in these lovely plastic tubs. I've got hundreds of them now, and always with a nice little thank you sticker and what crew this is. So this is the dark crew. I wonder what this might just be padding on the outside. No, there's something in there. So that can sit there. So have a look, see what we've got. Lots and lots of bubble wrap and tape. Good. Always well packaged. That's a case of bases. So standard lipped bases. I always call them War Machine bases because I think they're the first time I ever saw them, but nothing too interesting there. So let's have a look what we've got in this lovely little tub. On the sides. So it's a nice list here of what it actually contains, along with the base sizes, because each different species has its own base size, and some, for example, hounds come in small, medium and large. So look at that, it's a nice big bag of miniatures. Sorry about that. So Oathsworn just started going to resin for their larger miniatures. This one, for example, is the skeleton of a fox. If you guys can see that very well. Obviously I'll link to the Kickstarter so you can see pictures of the greens themselves. Now of note, Michael hand sculpts all of these, so it's not CAD like a lot of miniatures, so there's a lot more character to the sculpts themselves. Look. So we have some more. Well, this is all undead style, so you've got obviously fox skeleton there. This is shrew. You might be able to see these are wreathed in what looks like a mixture of flame or smoke. They're called ghasts, which is basically ghosts. A lot of there was an original mist ghast model, which obviously Michael's followed up with for this entire crew. For example, this bird, you know, you've got a little bit of a skull there, but the rest of it's all wreathed in this smoke. Or as I'm thinking of painting it as flame itself. So they did. Michael did say due to the popularity of the Kickstarter, they didn't have time to clean up. But on here, there's very little flashing. It's a bit on the base itself, but I cut the bases off, so that's not a big issue for me. One for Alhouse, friend of the channel, is a bat, little bat necromancer. Bit of flashing along the wing here, but nothing, to be honest, is probably paint wouldn't even notice it when it's undercoated. Lovely flowing robes. Michael does some fantastic sort of robe effects, and a lot of the flowing flames and smoke in these guys really suits his style very well. There's always a hair which is all smoke and folds coming up into the robes. Yeah, another big guy. Wildcat, I do believe. Be interesting to see how well Michael sculpts for his animal skulls compared to actual real animal skulls, because Burrows and Badgers is set in sort of like a United Kingdom medieval times, so a lot of the animals here are all native. You don't see a lot of migrant animals, but look at this guy, another fox, where again you've got a skull, but where the ears for the fox are all of this wreathed in flame and smoke. Quite cool. I must admit I don't have a lot of I haven't spent a lot of time with the rules yet building the crew, because the one issue is probably the wrong word. The wrong downside of Burrows and Badgers is Michael does these gorgeous figures, you know, these single piece cast. But if I wanted this guy to have a sword and shield, for example, you've got to glue one on. There's not a lot of room there. I've done some conversions. You don't see a lot of them, unfortunately. Nice little necromancer. Big, thick tome. But again, the two necromancers aren't wreathed in the flames and smoke, because these ones are actually the guys that summon the crew. But you've got these lovely flowing cape, all these robes, real characterful little snarl to the face. The necromancer, quite cool. And to have things like details, because obviously all the weapons are sculpted, so where Michael's put all of this damage into the weapons themselves, and a little bit of flame poking up from where the skeleton of the animal is. It's really, really cool. Real attention to detail. That's partly why I think there's such a big draw for Burrows and Badgers. Is again, you don't see even when people use the same model, is they pick up people's paint schemes very well. So where everyone paints differently and has different style, that these models really come into their own. You can have two people, myself and Andy, for example, both run fox crews, but our fox crews look so different. A little mole poking out of the floor. But yeah, fantastic model. So what I'll do is I will get a couple of close-up photos of what we've received, and I'll stick that at the end here, and I'll stick a link to Oathsworn and their Kickstarter specifically, so you can see what we've got. But fantastic models. So thank you for watching, and have fun.